Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and of course don't forget that on Patreon there's a new Sudoku hunt on the 1st of every month. February is, of course, the brilliant interactions by Riff Clown. We keep those open until just the 20th of the month for the competition, but of course they're up there forever after that, so do join us on Patreon. There's a huge backlog of puzzles you could work through. And some of them are utterly brilliant, including Riff Clown's work. That's on Patreon. There's always extra content there of all kinds, and there's all our apps which have loads and loads of different sorts of puzzle. None with today's rule set, I don't think, but there's Thermo Sudoku and Chess Sudoku and Miracle Sudoku and Classic, all sorts of brilliant apps. Check them out on the links under the video. And Sven SUDOKU PAD in our merchandise. But we got sent this puzzle. I think it's the first time on the channel for Alexandra Z or Alexandra Z possibly. And the puzzle is called Bene Divisa, which strikes me as more Latin than Italian. You can correct me on that. Now the rule is fascinating. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That's fine, 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Each digit is either a factor or multiple of at least one orthogonally adjacent digit. And the number 1 counts as a factor during this puzzle. So I guess for every digit in the puzzle, one of its neighbours, one of its orthogonal neighbours, so for that 8, one of these digits is either a multiple or a factor of 8. So in that case, it must be a factor of 8. For this 3, though, one of these is either a 1 or a 6 or a 9. I mean, it's intriguing. It's an intriguing rule. Give it a try on the link under the video. We get a lot of given digits. 4, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, just enough to be the absolute minimum for a classic. But I suspect this won't be as easy as even a classic Sudoku with 17 givens. Give it a try. I am going to start now. Let's get cracking. Oh, that 8 was actually interesting. That was a good random digit to choose because, as I just said, 8 can't have a multiple in one of its neighbouring cells. So it must have a factor. Oh, bother. I was going to say that factor must be 2 or 4 and must be here, but of course it could be a 1 and be there. What about this? This can't be a 1. 1 is a quite annoying wild card digit that can be next to anything in this. Yeah, this is interesting. Look, this digit is even because it sees all the odd ones, one in its row and the others in its box. So this is even, but even doesn't form a partner with any of these digits except in one case, I think, 6 and 3. That is definitely right. Oh, that is a very surprising, I suppose, hidden single. Then by Sudoku, actually I should really focus on the Sudoku, shouldn't I? There's an 8 in one of those cells. There's a 2 in one of those. I don't know if this is going to be worth doing, but I'm definitely doing it because I understand this part of the rule set quite well. I.e., normal Sudoku rules apply. There's an 8 in one of those. There's not a lot that we are given by Sudoku. So I am going to have to think about these rules quite hard. It's we've been here before. I have seen this rule set or something very like it before. It is now occurring to me gradually. It is something about ones. Ones have to be very carefully distributed. Oh, of course, right. Right. 5 and 7 are the key digits. 5 and 7, wherever they appear in the grid, have to neighbour a 1 because there is no other digit that they can be a valid partner with. Oh, that's really interesting. Right. I should have thought of that immediately. I want to write a 1 in this cell, but that is not quite fair. Okay, the 5 here does need a 1 in one of those two cells because it obviously can't get one here or here. So it's got to get its 1 in one of those cells. The 7 here, however, does not need to have a 1 in one of those cells because it could have a 1 here. So there is still a chance that's not a 1 if those two are. Okay, this 5, I'm going to just change horses and move away from this middle box. This 5 needs a 1 in one of those two cells. The 7 here needs a 1 somewhere around it. And that's a sort of X-wing. That's going to use up the two 1s in rows 8 and 9. So the 1 in row 7 is going to be in one of these two. We've already established that there is a 1 in box 5 in one of these two. Hey, it's weird, isn't it? I wish we had more 5s and 7s given. Maybe we can posit the positions of 5s and 7s, certainly in relation to their... Yeah, look, we can. 5 by Sudoku can't be in those cells. Now I'm going to say it can't be in... I was going to say it can't be in those cells because neither of them can be a 1. But that doesn't work. 5 could be in one of those cells with a 1 on its right-hand side. Oh, goodness. Five in box 8 is in one of those 4 just by Sudoku. And it's fine for it to be in one of those two because then it is next to a 1. If it's in one of those two, the 1 has to be directly above it. Ah, right, this is good. This can't be a 5 because then it couldn't be next to 1. That would force the 1 into one of those cells for the box, and then that wouldn't be allowed to be a 1. So, in this box, 5's in one of those 3, and now 5 is in one of those 2 in box 8. And as I just said, then it has to be under the 1 directly. And 5 and 1 are a pair here. So 5 and 1 are either a pair there or there. Oh, goodness, this is going to be hard. I do want to keep thinking about these 5s and 1s and 7s and 1s. They must be important to getting going. Well, now I'm wondering, as soon as I say that, I'm wondering, do I need to branch out into other digits like 9, which only... Once 9 isn't next to a 1 somewhere, it has to be next to 3. It only has that one other possible partner. Yeah, I don't think the other Sudoku digits are quite as useful. Gosh. I was thinking about where 1, 2, 4 and 8 go around here. I mean, I suppose 4 can go in any cell. Two is in one of those. 8, 1, 5, 6, 3, 8. Oh, well, I suppose this can only be 2 or 9 now by Sudoku. Is it going to be a game of finding cells that are quite restricted? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, that was just a little start with the 7s and 1s. It doesn't feel like I got very far. If we say that that is a 1, sorting out the 5 and the 7 straight away, then that has to be a 1. Yeah, the trouble is you want to position the ones in the various boxes so they are touching 5s or 7s, but they don't actually have to, because ones can do double duty and touch 2 5s or 2 7s. I mean, I'm prepared to guess that in the final solution, every single one will be touching at least 1 5 or 7. But how can I use that algorithmically to discover where they actually are in the puzzle? I'm not at all sure. This is very interesting, Alexandra. Very interesting idea. You see, 8 is almost certainly there. Because if it's here, then it's going to have to touch a 1, because it can't touch a 2 or a 4. And that's just adding the pressure to the 1s. I mean, 1s are probably already under enough pressure. The 7 in this box, right, given that the 1 in this box is in one of those cells, the 1 in the neighbouring boxes are there and there, i.e. they're not reaching into this box at all. The 7 in this box has to touch one of these 1s. So the 7 is either there or there. That is interesting. So then the 7 in row 7 is in one of those positions by Sudoku. And if it was here, oh, whichever one of those is a 7, that is a 1 to touch it. No, hang on. Hang on. If that was a 7, that might be it's touching 1. And then you could have 1 5 here. That was close to being good. But if this is a 7, yeah, if this is a 7, 1 is in at least one of those positions. If that's a 7, this is definitely 1 5 here. That didn't get it resolved. That's really, really annoying. Okay, if that is a 7, then that's a 1. What happens then? If that's a 7, that's a 1. So that's a 1. That's not a 1. 1 must be here as well. So then we would have 1s in these positions. This is all based on row 5, column 9 being a 7. This is tricky. Gosh, I don't know what to think. I was quite pleased with that deduction about 7s. I was sure that was going to put a 1 here, and it just bloomin' didn't. I might have to, just for my own sake, colour possible positions for 1s, because I think they're very interesting. So these are the only possible positions for 1s in their relative boxes. And that keeps 5 and 7 away from certain cells. But I mean, we've now penciled, yeah, okay. No, it doesn't keep 5 out of there and there at all. Because 1 can be in those positions. So I need to discover a bit more about the central box. I mean, what is interesting in the central box is that in 3 of these positions, we're going to have 2, 4, and 8. And they're going to have to touch a neighbour that can be a possible pair. I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not sure that it gets anything done. So what about 9 then? Let's broaden our inquiries to include 9. 9 can't be in those cells. I was going to say 9 can't be here, but that doesn't even work because it could be next to a 3 in this place. Nine there would definitely be next to 1. 9 there would definitely be next to 3. 9 there would definitely be next to 3. So all I know about 9 in this box is that it's in one of those cells, which is not that interesting. I mean, even here where I can confine 9 to those positions, it just has to be next to 3 or 1, and it's going to find a way to achieve that. Oh, what about this corner? This corner is shut in. Ah. So it has to go with 7 or 3. Right, 3 can go with 1, 6, or 9. And 7 can only go with 1. I should have looked here before. Is this interesting? If that was a 1, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. Ah. Just this is quite shut in as well. So if it wasn't a 1, 4, 3, 7, 8, I suppose 2, 6. It can't be 5. So it's 1, 2, 6, or 9. Yeah, I mean, it would be easier if we had cells all over the grid where there were digits you couldn't put. Okay, this one actually, C's 1, 5, 7, and 9. So it's one of those, but its neighbour is not there. Its neighbour that, this can't be a 7. Look at that. This can't be a 7 because that would be shut in and couldn't link to either of them. That's extraordinary. Right, this is a 7. Is that helpful? I mean, that doesn't change anything about 1s, annoyingly, but 7 now is in one of those 3 cells. Can that possibly be a 7? That would need to be a 1 above it there. Okay, that wouldn't work. This can't be a 7 because the 1 it was touching would have to be here, and then the 7 in column 1 would be in one of those cells, and with a 1 there, that could never touch a 1. So, that is not a 7. So 7 is now grouped around this 1 somewhere here in this box. Now, was there anything else this couldn't be? Actually, it can only be 2, 4, or 6 by Sudoku. So this, I was going to say this can't be a 3. That's not true. It could be a 3 with a... it can't be a 3 because there's a 3 in the box. There we go. So these are both even. And they must be a multiple and factor of each other, which is hardly surprising. All that's telling me is they're not 6 and 8. And the 9 in the box, it could still be there. I've looked at that, haven't I? One of these is a 2. I mean, I've known that for a while and not actually pencil marked it yet. It does show me that this cell is 4, 6, or 9, but I can't think that's going to be any help. This, 1, 6, or 9. If it was 6 or 9, obviously one of these is a 1. If that was a 1, then 7 couldn't be up here, or 5 actually. Yeah, that's interesting. If 1 was here, 5 couldn't be there. 5 would have to be in one of these cells. And then to touch a 1, there would also be a 1 in one of those cells, because if there was a 1 here, there couldn't be a 1 anywhere here. There can't be a 1 here, and there can't be a 1 here because we have that pair. Okay, so what was this based on? If that was a 1, this is a 5-1 pair. And then the only way to have 7 anywhere here reaching a 1 is to have 7 there, 1 there, and 5 there. Well, I mean, I can now see that fails on 4 in the box. This is complicated, but I'm prepared to use something I can see. So let me actually show you what I can see, because 4 will be there and will fail to have a useful neighbour. So what I'm saying is that if that is a 1, this is all going to fail. And the reason it's going to fail is because I'm going to now run through the sort of what I'm looking ahead and seeing. If that was a 1, one of these is a 1. The 5 in box 1 now can't be up here, or it can't touch a 1. So it must be in one of these cells. So that would be a 1-5 pair, and 2 would have to be here in the box. Now 7 is going to have to be here touching a 1. 4 by Sudoku is going here. And 4 is only able to touch 3, 6, 7, and 9, which makes 4 illegal. So that cannot work, and therefore this cannot be 1. And I'm going to use that because I've seen it. If I can look ahead far enough in my brain to see something, I don't consider that bifurcation. Basically, every digit you place in a Sudoku is bifurcating. Like if you could just put 2 in there for some reason because 2 didn't work there, you're kind of bifurcating to say 2 here doesn't work, so I'm putting 2 here. This is just a slightly extended version of that process. But 1 there is a big deal. Now I've ruled out 1 from here. It has to be here. That's a big deal because it puts 1 here. And it stops these being a 1. And what else does that do? That, I probably want to put 5 here. No, I can't do that yet. 1, 3, 7, 5. 9 is going to be in one of those cells. This 1, I felt that was going to be more helpful. This is 6 or 9 to go with the 3. 8, 1, 3, 7. 2 is now in one of those 2 cells, so it's not there. 8, 1, 3, 7, 2, 5. This is 4, 6, or 9. Now, if it was 6 or 9, what would it be next to here? I don't think this can be 9, actually, because that can't be 1 or 3. So that is 4 or 6. Either of those leaves some scope for this digit. It could be 2 or 8. Eight, 1, 3, 7. There's resolve this. This 8, that's been resolved. Yeah, the 1 is going to sort out all of these digits, whatever they are. That's 6 or 9. This is 4 or 6. Now, if it's 6, if it's 4, it's already got its neighbour. If it's 6, I think this has to be a 2. And this cannot be a 2. We've pencil marked 2 into one of those cells and one of those cells. So, if this can't be 2 or 1 or 3, then this can't be 6. That's good. This is a 4. There's a 4 in one of those 2. Tempting to stick it straight by the 8, but I don't think we're allowed to do that. These are all from 2, 5, 6, 9. So let's think about this one. No, I don't know. Let's not think about that one. 5, 1, 4, 7. That can't be 4 anymore. 3 is in one of those. 7's got its neighbour, 4's got its neighbour. They're going to be okay. God, I mean, getting a digit in this really doesn't open up the puzzle to being solved straight away, does it? Okay, this can't be a 7 now, because none of those can be 1s. Can that be a 7? No, because we've said 4's in one of these cells. So if that was a 7, this would be a 4, and 7 would get isolated again. So now 7 is in one of those two cells in the box. It has to be next to a 1, which can't be here, but it could be in any of those cells. Also, there's a 7 somewhere here, and that must touch the 1 in its box. So the 1 must be in those cells too, and this central one must be 1 or 7. They can't get separated. Now 1 in box 6 is in one of those two. And that means this can't be a 1, or, well, placing 1 there means this can't be a 1. That can't be a 7 anymore, or 1 would be there and it wouldn't be touching a 1. So that is not 7, and the 7 is placed now here, and it's going to touch a 1 in one of those positions. Now, where's 5 in this box? That is a very interesting question suddenly. I don't think it can be in any of these, well, any of these 4 cells. Oh, we've got a 5 there. Okay, so it's just these two to rule out, but, oh, it could be there touching a 1, sorry. I don't think actually this can be 5, because that can't be a 1 because we've confined 1 in box 5, and that can't be a 1 because we've confined 1 in box 3. So 5 is in one of those two cells, and if it's there, it can't touch a 1 actually, because of where where 1s are confined in boxes 5, 8 and 9. So 5 has to be here, and that is the 1. And there we go, we've got something going now. This is now the 1 in the central box by Sudoku. That is not a 1, and we can take out its colouring. I mean, this is a 2, 4, 8 triple. I'm pencil marking that now. 5, that can't be 5. 5 is in one of these positions. It can't be here because it could never touch a 1 there, so it's there, and the 1 it touches is above it. Bother, doesn't have to place a 1 there. Okay, so now we've got 3, 6 and 9. Oh, that is a naked 6, that's good. Then we've got 3 and 9 above it, and what else can we do? We've got 2, 6 and 9 to place here. Ooh, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? If 2 would be touching a 1 there, if 2 was, oh, I suppose 2 could touch 6. And these are 2, 4 and 9. Now, there must be something I can do here. I must try and not get 9 isolated here, for instance. Because then, in fact, I don't even think this can be a 9. I don't think either of these can be a 9. Work with me here. If that was a 9, it would be surrounded by 8, 2 and 4, none of which it can partner. If this was a 9, it would be surrounded by 5 there and even digits on the other side. So that's not a 9. So that is a 9. Let's take out the corner marks. I mean, this is a fascinating puzzle. It really is weird. These are from 2, 6 and 8. No, they're not. There's a 2 in the box. They are 6 and 8. This is a 2. Now we're going. 6, 3, 9, 2, 4, 8. This is a 1, 5, 7 triple. Oh, well, that's good, because 5 has to touch the 1 and 7 has to touch the 1, so the 1 must be in the middle of a 5, 7 pair. Excellent. That's not a 1 now. This is just Sudoku. That's a 1. That's a 2. Now, 5 and 7 can't be... Oh, I've gone wrong. I tell you why I've gone wrong. Because I left in the 1 pencil marks from my foray into what happens if that's a 1. Right. So, Roderick Etheria, you can now, if you've watched this far in the video, you can remove your comment about how I left in a wrong pencil mark. Having got that 1, I know that 1 is in one of these 2 positions. That's better. So that 1 didn't... Now, 5 and 7 still have to... Well, 7 especially has to get into this box somewhere, and it has to touch one of these 1s. It can't reach a 1 in this box. It can't be in those positions because of 7 here. So, 7 has to touch one of these 1s and is in one of those 2 cells, I reckon. 5, well, yeah, again, 5 can't reach a 1 outside the box because there's no 1s in those positions. So, 5 is touching one of these 1s as well, and is therefore there or there. 1, 7, 2, 5, 8, 9. So these digits are from 3, 4, and 6. Wow, this is weird. Hang on. If 5 was here, 1 would be there, and 7 would have to be here. If 5 was here, 1 would be there and 7 would have to be here. So 7 is always in the middle. And that's not 7. That can't be the 1-5 pair because one of them has to be a 2. So the 1-5 pair is up north. And these just still have a 2 and not anything else. Right. We've got 7 in the corner now, 5 there. That is a 3, 6, 9 triple, but actually I know where the 3 goes thanks to Sudoku. What about this? I suppose touching a 3, it could be either 6 or 9. I mean, the game now might be to find cells that are difficult. Like that can't be a 4 or a 6 because it's surrounded by 5, 7, and 9. I mean, this is hard. That is now a 9. I prefer the Sudoku angle, frankly. But, oh, that's touching a 1. Right, this one can't be an 8, I reckon, because it would then be surrounded by 3, 3, 5, and 6. Isn't that extraordinary? It can be a 6 because it's touching 3. Oh, gosh. This is just thinking a whole new way. I'm not comfortable in this territory. Right. 7 is now here in this box. I mean, I should remember to keep up this 7s and 5s touching 1s business because we're getting so many 1s positioned. We're down to an X-wing on 1s. Okay, how are we doing on 7s? Now, oh look, there's another 1 I hadn't marked. Right, 7s, they're all touching 1s. Ah, this one isn't, so the 1 is here now. And the 5 had to be below it. I can remember that. So, all the 1s are now placed. Stick 1 in there. And all the 7s we've got so far are touching 1s. In fact, 7 has to be there, and that finishes the 7s. And the 7s are all touching 1s. How are the 5s doing? The 5s are doing very well. We have 2 to place, and they are easy to write in, and they are both touching 1s. So we have satisfied... that's a good digit, actually. We've satisfied 5s and 7s. Now, in this row, that digit is either 4 or 6, but we've got a 6-9 pair in this box, so that gets resolved. 8 there. 2, 3, 1, 5, 7. I'm just going to remove those corner marks. Then I'm going to pencil mark this box. 4, 6, 8, and 9. Let's just whack them in. Take out 4 from there and 8 from there. Now, I probably should be thinking about those, but I'd rather do Sudoku again. These are all the even digits still to place in column 1. 8, 6, 5, 7, 1. We need a 3 in this column, and it seems to have to be here. Yes, I should look at 9s next, which were the next important digit after 5s and 7s. I haven't got that many. 9s, if they're not touching 1s, have to touch a 3. And that's okay for the 3 that I can see already. It's going to definitely work here. Now, 9 in this box can't be there or there because it would fail. No, it can be here. And it can be here. It can't be there or there. Is that right? I think that's right. 9 here wouldn't touch a 1 or a 3, nor would it here. So the 9 in this column is at the top. That's a 6. 6. There we go. Those aren't. Oh. Have I not got a triple there? No, I haven't. Right, what about this, though? I think whatever this is, this can't be 9, because this is 4 or 8, touching 3, 5, and 7 uselessly. So it's got to touch the other out of 4 or 8 here. It can't touch 9 there. So that's not a 9. This is the 9 in box 8. Touching 3 is fine. That is a 9 just by Sudoku, so that's a 9. They're both touching, they're touching 3s in a big old deadly pattern. Wow, this is nuts now. Now that's interesting. This can't be a 6. That's harder to see somehow. If that was a 6, this would have to be an 8 by Sudoku, and then 6 would be surrounded by 5, 7, and 8s, and that won't work. So that's a 4. I'm sure there will be individual steps in this puzzle that you could see quicker than me. But overall, if you're flying through this, you're some kind of weird divisional genius. And I use divisional not in an NFL sense, but in a sense of doing dividing. There we go. I think that's it. There we go. That is correct. What an extraordinary puzzle. That is nuts. We've definitely done, I think I've done exactly that rule set before now I really consider it. But, man, it's not easy. Very clever, Alexandra. Thank you for sending that. A bit of a brain shredder. I don't want to do another one like that in the next few weeks. Ooh, it's weird. Weird feeling. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. And bye for now.